This is the second video in week 10 of disaster planning. So we're going to get into the who and what. And it's going to be about people and what you're planning for. So people are obviously the cornerstone of your business, and they're going to be a big part of your plan as well. And training your people ahead of time and having them knowledgeable is just a huge piece of just being prepared overall. So everybody who is has a critical part in the plan should be included in the planning, so they know what they're doing. We're going to get into assigning resources, that's people, to the various parts of the plan a little bit later. But again, your business is all about people, so make sure that you're going to include them because you want to get input from them. You want to know your people in general. And I can't remember which week, but we've got a week that's on knowing your people as well. So you want to know what their strengths are, what their weaks are. It's kind of like an impromptu SWOT analysis on your people, because you want to know how they're going to react during a crisis. And just because somebody's good at their job doesn't mean that they can, hold together under a different type of stress, whatever that is. So just keep that in mind. We're also going to have you get to know yourself as well, because how you react in a stressful situation will really determine how successful you are at executing your plan or recovering from a disaster. So you need to know your strengths and limitations, and that's going to be a big part of that in leading in a crisis. And you might not be the person who is actually going to lead, because if you aren't good at that, or you have somebody who's a better crisis manager, they might be the one leading your team to the other side of that crisis. And then again, with knowing your people, we're going to include customers in there as well. So how they might react to a break in your service, or what you might need to tell them, how they are communicated with. All that type of stuff is going to be considered when we create these plans. And this is, again, just a quick overview of what you need to know about your people and regarding the disaster plans. In a couple weeks, we're going to have something in more depth about knowing your people. Finally, you want to know what it is you're planning for. So there could be literally millions of things that you could plan for, but we want you to start off for this course with something that's going to be familiar with. So again, nobody was really prepared for the 2020 pandemic. So don't try and get too creative, or don't get too creative when it comes to creating your first plan. Don't be funny and think that you're going to plan for killer clowns from outer space or whatever it is. Think of something that you might have already experienced, or let's say natural disasters that are common in your area. If you live on the East Coast, that could be hurricanes. West Coast, that's earthquakes, whatever it is. And it could be something like we've talked about losing an employee, somebody quitting, they get hit by that proverbial bus, or let's say a competitor moving into your area. Just think of something that is familiar with your business, because the first plan we're going to create, we want to make it simple, and then you can kind of expand upon it from there. Once you get good at it, you can start planning for the more obscure things, and then another area. So you could look at your threats in that SWOT analysis to find things to plan for, but you could also look at gaps in your business, gaps in your processes that will uncover throughout that process series. These are things that you could also plan for. So that's it for the first installment of disaster planning, and weeks 20, 30, and 40 have the rest of this.